What's up, everybody? Episode 11, Future Motocross Radio. I'm your host, RJ Huss. Got another episode coming to you. We've got Mr. Sugar Shane.
Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, we got a lot to talk about, boys, here on episode 11. We got Mr. Tyler Kasha, our producer in the corner, is going to join us on the episode. And then I've got a very special friend of mine, and I say special in multiple different ways, Mr. Dave Dukey. How we doing, Mr. Dave?
We're doing good. Thank you for having me.
Red Bud.
Red Bud.
We got some great people on this episode for us here, episode 11. I also want to say a huge thank you to HBI Tax, HBI Racing, Mr. Matt Bell, and the boys. We got a lot to talk about how they went this week and everything going on and plans moving forward. Got a lot of big things, and Minios is completely wrapped up. We got the semi back last night, moved it over to the drill shop today. So there's a lot going on there. And then the other person I want to thank is the Morgan Stanley Financial Group, Mr. Bo Parton with the Medina and Parton Group out of Tampa, the Morgan Stanley Financial Group. They have a lot of different riders and people that they deal with in the motocross industry that you can look over their portfolio, or they can help you with multiple different things. So make sure you keep them in mind for anybody that's looking for something like that. And again, HBI Tax, huge thanks there. But boys, what a week, man.
It's a long week, RJ, huh?
Long week.
I've never seen bags that big underneath your eyes.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. If I had my Oakley sunglasses on in here, then you wouldn't see them. But
but it happens. You're out there working hard.
Man, I could tell you, I cannot even begin to say thank you enough to Pooh Sipes and Dave Dukey, man. These guys, even my son Benji, he came up for a couple days, and we'll recap the whole week. But when I say we started every morning, we were at the truck by 6 a.m. and typically did not leave the truck until 9, 10 o'clock at night, every night.
That's rough.
That was every day for almost 10 days straight. I'm trying to think I don't even know what the date was, but I went up with Benji, my son. We went up the Thursday before Minios even started. So registration was Friday. We had already taken the semi and the camper up beforehand on Monday. But Benji and I got up there Thursday, started getting some things set up and ready. And I think it was Friday morning, about 5:15 in the morning, Benji and I were inside the semi, sweeping the floors. Benji was running the vacuum. And that was about 5:15 in the morning. And Duke came to, and man, it was just exciting. I mean, it was an exciting week. I mean, we had great success, which we'll get into all those details, but yeah, Shane, you know, I mean, with being in the industry as long as you've been in there, and obviously Duke, you know, he's been in the industry for a long time too, and we'll talk about some of your background and what you've got going. But
I mean, we never went to a race for a week. I can imagine how that is. Like it's a lot, but you know, that's it takes a lot out of you. But you're there because you love it, you know.
Oh, well, we're super passionate about it. You know, I mean, that's once the sport gets you in, man, it's very hard to get out. It's very hard to get out. Dookie, I mean, yeah, let's talk a little bit about your background, man.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
No rehab for this deal.
Yeah, and you and I talked about it a little bit today, even while we were driving that semi over and dropping it off. I mean, you've been in the industry working around or on dirt bikes for what, 46 years, you said?
Yeah, 46 years.
Basically started when you were 13, you know, working on bikes in the garage, and then just evolved all the way through.
I wasn't a very good racer, and I did it for a year. And when all my buddies were lapping me after the first lap,
yeah,
obviously I wasn't very good. So I started working on their bikes, and I've been doing it ever since. I would do snowmobiles in the winter and dirt bikes in the summer.
Yeah.
And I quit the snowmobiles in 2001.
Yeah.
I walked away from that, and then did some race car stuff for a little while, and then this drew me back because this, this is my passion. This is what I like to do.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not many guys, I don't think, in the world that can say that they actually work their passion.
Yeah.
Right. You know? Hey, why you quit snowmobiles? You just
first of all, it's too cold.
Okay.
I worked for the Skidoo factory in their Formula One thing, which was their twin trackers, and I worked for almost 20 years doing that, and finally achieved winning the world championship in '91. In '93, I got switched to the factory team, which was the Formula 3 sleds, which were stock production sleds with the big motors, 670s, everything full mods. Won the championship there. And then I went back to the Formula One team and won 93 and 94 Formula One World Championship.
Wow.
And then 2 years ago, I was inducted to the Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame.
We have a Hall of Famer
Yeah.
in the Legends Room.
In the Legends Room, right here upon us, folks.
Where's the Hall of Fame for?
It's for all of
No, where is it though? Where's it located?
St. Germain, Wisconsin.
Oh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's where all the inductions are and everything. And they just had it again this past.
Oh, well, congrats. That's a big deal.
Yeah. I don't tell a lot of people about it. You know, I'm very proud of it, and it is a big thing. And I did that for a long time. And we think motocross is hard, and you work hard. It's a lot harder. Because first of all, you know, sometimes it's 80 below zero.
Cold, wet.
Cold,
Miserable.
wet. You're laying in the snow working on snowmobiles that are dripping antifreeze and, you know, water, and because everything is hot and cold. And
Yeah.
no, it's.
Talk about some of the other stuff though too, Dookie. I mean, you and I've known you now for probably about 15 years. I mean, we got fortunate through the Keelons and Randy Yoho. I was able to get to meet you, and we've had a great time. Every race we go to, everywhere we go, we've got some great stories. Probably can't share most of them on air.
Exactly.
But some of them that we can talk about, like I know you spent some time around Ricky at the goat farm. I know some of the people, but I mean, talk about some of those points.
When I wrenched for a kid named Drew Yenrick, I wrenched for him for 13 years. And we trained at the goat farm and stayed at GPF. And we do our little riding and our racing, you know, and stuff on the weekends, but we'd be at the goat farm sometimes 2-3 weeks in a row. And just got to, you know, you get to know the Carmichaels pretty well. Because,
Right.
I mean, you're living with them and, you know, hanging around them every day and stuff. So, you know, you get a little camaraderie going, and you're there that long a time. And I was there again with Jeremy Martin and Eric Goodson at different times. So, like if Ricky needed something done, or Big R did, or what have you, you know, you'd help do the tanks, or fill up the fuel, prep the bike.
Right.
So he was ready to go on it, you know.
Sure.
And it's just, you know, you become good friends with them. And then I used to, you know, when I'd come down and do a special project for somebody or do some testing down there, I used to stay at Ricky's house, and, you know, me and Ricky became pretty good buds.
Yeah. And
He's a good guy. He's a great guy.
You also have some tie into the Indy side in Indy Car.
Did a little Indy Car racing. Danica Patrick's, I'm her godfather.
Yeah.
And,
a lot of people don't know that.
No, a lot of people don't know that. And
You got her phone number?
Actually, I don't.
Oh.
No.
I actually played Top Golf with Danica once. Oh, not with her personally, just me and her. But it was a Red Bull thing up in Atlanta, and I think she was dating Stenhouse at the time.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, and he was a really, really good guy.
Yeah, and she's great too. But
Yeah, she was nice.
She's a woman in a man's world.
Yeah.
So, you know, she'll give it back to you just as much. But that's the way she was raised too. Her dad is my best friend, and me and him talk constantly. He has a little carbon fiber thing in Indianapolis, and he made a lot of parts for Honda.
Yeah.
A lot of parts for Geico.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Honda would give him a bike at the beginning of the year, and then this is the 10 things that he would have to do. And he still makes the front disc covers that Moto Concepts still buys them from him.
Nice.
Huh.
Yeah.
So where did you find this? Why did you determine that we needed Dave Dukey at Minios for the week? I mean, obviously I could see why, but the idea, how did it come up?
No, it's a great question, honestly. I mean, this is the first race that we were going to have the semi there, the awning there, and I knew that with Shane, with the job that he currently has, it's going to be tough on his work schedule to try and come up there and help, even though I know he knows probably the most out of all of us as far as the hauler side, the rig side. So Dave and I have touched base multiple times over the past couple of years, and I just reached out, and true story. I'm sitting on the beach with my kids because I had to do, you know, my dad duty and make sure that Anna and the kids were happy. And she said she wanted to go to the beach one day, so I was sitting there on the beach, got on my phone. Imagine that. Talked to Dookie for probably an hour on the phone, just bouncing ideas. You know, what do you think about this? How do you know? And it just kind of was one of those calls where I said, I need Dookie's experience because I knew that, like, even with Shane with his work schedule, he couldn't be there. I mean, it even is all the way down to how to put the awning up. We had instructions, but I've never done it before. And Duke's been around it, for so many years that he knows, and he's been around semis. And I felt like it would be a great asset to me. And looking back on the week right now, it was a very good decision on our behalf to make this happen.
So what did you do? Just call him up?
Yeah, so
just
I called
because of
him.
this thought that you had?
Yeah, and I just said, listen, I don't know exactly what he's doing right now, and he told me what he was doing. He said that he was up in just outside Chicago, basically. And I said, I really think it would be a benefit to pick your brain, have you help me as far as set up, looking at where things are placed in the truck.
Logistics, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just simple stuff that I would overlook or oversee that I didn't know. And at the same time, because of his mechanical background and, the pedigree of a mechanic that he has, I mean, he's built up a very big reputation in the name. So I was like, well, we don't have a mechanic for Carson. So for this particular week, if you can come down and help me as far as learning, how to move forward, what do we do, and also help Carson at the same time, this would just be a win-win. And it worked out so well. I mean, 3 championships this week for Carson Wood, absolutely ripping on that Cowie after only 2 weeks on the bike. I mean, personally, I did not expect him to do that well. I know Carson's fast, trust me. I am fully aware of that. But I was also giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's only been on this bike for 2 weeks. He's rode an Austrian brand bike for the past 3 years, 4 years. And now we're jumping to, the Kawasaki that he doesn't truly know yet, the inner workings of it. How does it work? What do we do with the bike at the end of the night? And, we were figuring that stuff out through the week. So I felt like it would be a great idea to have, Dookie around. Obviously there's logistics involved as far as, where to stay and getting them down there and stuff like that. That's always hard to conquer. I mean, anybody that's listened to the show, I've been very open and honest that, we don't have a big budget. Our team budget is probably the lowest team budget out of anybody that was there with a semi. But at the same time, we had a lot of success. I would say outside of Star Yamaha, we were one of the most successful teams there. And I'm not knocking any other team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from anybody.
No.
But I just, the improvements that we saw with Ayden this week and riding inside the top 3, in multiple motos, getting second overall in the 450 Pro Sport class. I mean, I will never take anything away from Star or Deegan. He was on fire. I mean, Ayden absolutely crushed it in every class he rode. I mean, anybody that watched that 450 Pro Sport Moto #1, where he came from essentially 20th place at the start, worked all the way up and won the race, that was an amazing ride for him. And I am very proud of him and what he did, and the Star Yamaha team. They did a great job. But I'm also very proud of Ayden, looking at what he's done now in the month that he's been on a Cowie, and his results this week show.
Yeah, he rode the entire week and finished strong for the most part. I mean, I don't think, was he ever outside the top 10?
He was never outside the top 10. He was only outside the top 5 in one moto, and that's when he went to go inspect some trees down in the bottom of the pit. He basically dropped down into the pit. He was running in, I think, 4th. And in the bottom, you can either go outside or inside has a little single. And he scrubbed the single. I watched the whole thing, and he kind of like over scrubbed it, almost whipped it over the single, and it just kind of stood him straight up and hard right up into the trees.
Nice.
And you couldn't really see it from anywhere else because it was down in the bottom of the pit. But I mean, his front wheel is in a tree. So he spins the bike around, gets back on the track. I think he finished that moto in 7th. That was his worst finish all week, was a 7th.
Well, as much as have followed Ayden, as far as like all the, between Loretta's and Minios and his amateur career right now, like this has probably been the most consistent week that I've seen out of him.
Outside of that moto, I mean, he didn't put it on the ground, which, I mean, honestly,
he's really good at putting it on the ground, and
he is.
That wasn't an issue this week. And
no, last year at Minios, he put it on the ground quite a bit, and this year at Minios, he only put it on the ground, I think, one time. His lap times were decent. His lap times were consistent throughout the moto. We did fight the bike. I'm not going to lie about it. I mean, we fought the bike with suspension. We had great relationship with Race Tech and Ronnie Monk with 612, and we made adjustments probably the first.
Supercross or motocross or both?
Supercross, it was good. The bike was good. When we went outdoor, it was rough. I mean, the track was rough.
But did you do a change out though, or were you riding on the same suspension?
Same stuff.
Oh yeah, well,
the Supercross track at Minios is not a Supercross like AMA Stadium Supercross. I mean, you got to think they race 50s on it and they race 450s on it. So, right. There's no whoop section. Nothing is very peaky, or it's a pretty safe Supercross track. So we ran the same Supercross same suspension the whole week. But when we got outdoors,
it's more high speed though.
It's high speed, the rebound, and the roughness. I mean, the ruts. Supercross doesn't form the ruts because the speed isn't there. But
right.
So we called Ronnie and Ronnie Monk with 612 suspension, which is our Race Tech dealer down here in Florida, and he called one of the Race Tech guys that was at the track, which was Andy with A1. And we took both bikes, the 250 and the 450 over there, made adjustments to it after practice. It got better. We made adjustments to it after Moto 1. It got even better, and the bike was working really good after we made some minor adjustments to it. So I'm happy with that. But, overall, that's pretty much the reason why Duke came. And, I can't say thank you enough to Dave Dukey and Pooh Sipes. I mean, Justin Pooh Sipes, those two guys, and I'm not being sarcastic, they were at the truck every day between 6 a.m. and 6:30 every morning and would stay until 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I mean, we had dinners that we did. We did a sponsor dinner. We did a track staff dinner. We did a seafood boil 2 nights. I mean, so they were there helping us, clean up, make sure the truck was all tidied up and put away at the end of the night, and then right back at it at 6 o'clock in the morning. So minimal sleep, overworked and underpaid, right, Duke?
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Exactly. It is the name of the game.
Welcome to our budget.
I was only there Sunday.
Yeah.
Pathetic showing for the team. Understood.
Yep.
But seeing Dave, and the professional that he is, it was almost like a choreography of knowing exactly what to do. Having those headsets for the motos to have inter-team communication and things like that, it was next level, and I think that was a great call to have Dave come along and learn basically.
Well, and the good thing is, I mean, Dave, you can speak about the week on your own, but in my standpoint, Dave and Pooh got along great. They worked really well together, no matter what rider was going up to the track, whether it was Carson, Drew, Ayden. We all had our headsets on because especially the outdoor track, Supercross, the problem with the Supercross track, and Dave, I'll let you speak to it more, but the mechanics area for the Supercross track is blocked by the turn before the finish line berm. So you cannot see anything on the Supercross track if you're in the mechanics area. I mean, you basically get the little stretch after the rollers where they come over the big anthill and they turn left. That straightaway is all a mechanic really gets to see. So those headsets were critical because we had people spread all around the perimeter of the track. I was up in the tower watching the whole thing, trying to give them info. What's the bike doing? Are they passing? Are they battling? Where do we stand? So that was beneficial. But I think looking at it, I think we were probably the only team that had headsets on.
Other than Star.
Yep.
Star did.
Yeah. But that was beneficial to have and have people all spread out.
It worked great. It worked great. And the way we spread guys out.
Yeah, and it's nice, too, because, even Dave would be on the line and be like, hey, Pooh, can you bring, a screwdriver or a scraper or, fuel, because, a lot of people didn't know this. It's hard to document it, but Carson's classes, he rode 4 classes in Supercross, and every one of his classes was only separated by either 3 or 4 other races. So he would come off the track, do his podium speech, get right back on the bike, and go back into staging. Mm-hmm. So while he was up top doing his podium speech, Dave's checking the chain, filling it up with fuel, going over the bike, just tightening, checking everything we can, and it was a rush when Carson was going because he had so many motos back to back to back. I mean, quickly. Yeah, Ayden's and Drew's were more spaced out, so it wasn't such a fire drill. But overall, it's a lot of moving parts, man.
Yeah, the last thing I would notice about I'll quit singing his praises, but on the headset and knowing who to call out and when to call out, it was really beneficial, man. I was glad to get to witness it and having him. So good job, Dave.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
Very proud of you.
I'm very proud of you.
so that was.
I don't know how many times that got said over the headset this week. But
Did it really?
Very proud of you.
It's like a running joke at this point. But
It is.
Oh, it is.
So Monday night.
Then you would get a random red bud. I mean, the headsets would be silent, and then you would just get a random red bud. Which is, I mean, honestly, it's fun. That makes it fun. We're not so serious that we can't have fun. I mean, that's one thing I would look back on the week. I think our entertainment overall, as far as like our sponsor dinner, we're very fortunate to have.
I was going to ask you about that.
Aaron Kane with Oakley was there almost majority of the beginning half of the week. And he basically used our semi as his hub. He just said, hey, look for the giant Oakley logo on the front of the semi, and that was us. So people would come to our tent and, get what they needed from him, and he would go out and make his rounds. But, I mean, I can't even say how much I appreciate Aaron and everything he's done for us so far. And moving forward with Oakley has just been awesome. It's been such a great deal. And Tyler Hayes, it's the first time I really got to meet him personally and talk to him. And Tyler Hayes is with Fox. We got to meet with Jeff Hoover. First time I've ever met him. He came up to the rig and said his praises about the team and what we're doing and the performance that we had this week. So that was cool. It was great to have. But, that dinner, the Monday night dinner was awesome. We had a one-man band come up, J.R. Lewis out of Hernando Beach area. He drove up and played music for the whole track staff. So, I mean, having him there, and it was funny too. Remember Dookie, Mike Burkeen got on a guitar and got on a microphone, played a couple songs, which was funny. It was like head AMA official by day, but nighttime entertainment at night. So JR wanted a little break, and then Mike Burkeen grabbed a guitar and got on the microphone and sang a couple songs, which was really cool. But we did a grilled chicken, Caesar salad, rice, dessert tray. So that was really nice. And that whole staff, I mean, between Wynn, Kim, the Kern family overall, and then Ashley Barnes, the Morris family, the Keelons. I mean,
those paramedics.
Yeah, the paramedics.
Those guys are awesome.
Those guys worked their tail off.
Those guys are awesome.
And I know, Big John and EB. I mean, it was a very successful dinner, a lot of praises, and let everybody know that we appreciate them. I mean, truthfully, without them, we can't do this. Yeah. So we have to have them. And, we need, the Wynn and Kim Kern family and EB. And, I mean, they treated us so well. I mean, to be able to get in there and get the rig in and park and have a hookup and, have the presence that we had this week is strictly because of Wynn and EB.
Yeah, Dave, what were your thoughts on the week? And anything, any observations, or you've been to a bunch of races? So.
Yeah, no, for a new team and new semi, all new people, everything. I thought it went very smooth, and I was very impressed by Monday. People were coming and asking, "Hey, who is this team? Who's this team you're with? Who's this? Who's this?"
Awesome.
Who's this Huss guy? And then I would explain to him. And the guy that impressed me, that is pretty up in this area, he's from Florida, Jeff Hoover. His son, Austin Hoover, is in charge at Fox. So he kind of does a little scouting wherever he goes, and that's what he was doing here. But he come over. Was it Monday?
Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday, right away, and wanted to know what the heck is going on because people are talking.
Yeah, and looking at the blacked out semi.
Yeah.
that was just the semi attracts the people, but
the results on the track.
Our results that were going on with Ayden and Carson and even
Drew.
Yeah. but that's their home, and people want to know what the heck is this new team got going on. So
Yeah.
he was over asking questions, and the people, you almost have to go out of your way to come by our semi, and they were lined up.
Yeah.
They were lined up checking us out.
Well, and that was our goal. you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Absolutely.
our goal, was to go up there and have a presence, have a good showing. I mean, I think all the boys did well. Just like some of the posts in the social media, I think it's funny. I look at the one that Dan Truman put up yesterday on his Instagram. The boys did well. Carson won 3 titles. Ayden was inside the top 5 and top 3 almost every moto. And
How did
Drew reminded us that he's 14. He would have a moto where he'd go out and win, and then he'd have a moto where he'd go out and get 6.
He did get a title, right?
I don't have all the overalls. That's the one thing.
I was looking. I thought he did. I can look him up.
That's the one thing that I'm lacking, and it's terrible as a team owner. But to be honest with you, when the awards were going on, I was back at the truck taking the awning down.
Well, you've had a long week. I mean,
Yeah, no, we were
you
taking.
can't have all the info. It's fine.
We were taking the awning down and putting the floor up and the rugs and putting all the parts away and getting the truck ready to get on the road and drive home while the awards were going on. So I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to go up there and watch the awards. But at the same time, I've got to make sure everything else is.
I haven't had the chance to ask you, but as far as the awning and all, did everything fit snug and all the zippers are straight? Any issues?
Yes, there was some issues. I'm going to talk to the company that made it. Overall, the quality of it's fantastic.
Good or bad, but we discussed this on
Yeah.
the last episode that every time something like that appears when you order a new awning, there's always some kind of issues. And
Yeah,
I was trying to prepare you for that.
Well, they missed on the back of the awning to where it connects to the truck. There's those side flaps.
Yeah.
Up top.
Yep.
And there's supposed to be a piece of material in the awning that is round and it slides in the track.
Slides in the channel.
Yeah. So that is not on there.
Okay.
I honestly think it was just a simple oversight by
Right,
them.
right.
Now, we made it work. We put some zip ties and got it all functioning.
Yeah.
We made it work. It's not a big deal by any means. Outside of that, it did fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
The logo on top, we got a ton of coverage on Racer TV when we were on the Supercross track because
Nice.
they had a camera that was angled to that big triple, and the semi was right on the other side of it. So that awning, that logo was right there.
Yeah.
Putting it up, we used the instructions. It took longer because basically Dookie and I put it up essentially by ourselves to put it up. We had a team of people there when we took it down, and it came down a lot easier and a lot faster. Dookie and I both looked at each other after we took it down, and we were like, well, that was a lot better than we thought.
Yeah. It was good. It was real. I was impressed.
Did you keep it from hitting the dirt?
The canvas never hit the dirt.
Never touched the ground.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah. Canvas never hit the dirt. It did almost fly us away, though, when we were on the top of the truck.
Wow, is it windy?
It was windy when we were rolling it up to the top of the truck, and there was a couple moments where we had a big gust. And on the top of the truck, I had Carson's dad, Chris Wood, was a huge help. Donnie, which is Ayden's uncle. Donnie Shive helped us. Heath was up top unzipping it, and myself. So the 4 of us were all the way on the top of the truck. Duke was down low, kind of on the ground. We were taking apart some of the framing, and we got it done. I think in about 2 hours, probably.
Oh, at least, yeah. It was less than that.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was probably less than that. But, it went up. It took us a little bit longer to put it up because we were going back and forth and looking at the instructions.
Take your time.
But the good thing is, with Aero Awning, is they gave us instructions and had all of it labeled.
Nice.
You know how you and I were talking about putting tape on it?
Yeah.
So with the Aero Awning instructions, all of the arms were measured in length.
Right.
And they were labeled with that length.
Okay.
So you would just look at the instructions and it would say, okay, this piece has to be this one. And that was it.
Yeah.
It worked good. But anyway, to answer your question though.
About Drew?
Tyler, yes, about Drew. Tyler just got it for me. He went 1-1 in 450B.
Oh, nice.
He got a 4th overall in 250B, a 3rd overall in Schoolboy 2. That was in the motocross side. In the Supercross side, he went 6 in 250B limited, 6 in 450B limited, 3rd in 250B, and 2nd in Schoolboy 2.
Okay.
So he was, basically right there around that top 5 spot all week, but he did get the title in 450B in outdoors.
Oh, good.
But, just like even Truman said on his post, I mean, he shows he's got the speed, he shows he's there,
sure.
but he also shows that he's 14 years old riding
Yeah.
a 250. I mean, technically, he could still be in the super mini class.
Hey, overall, I've been wanting to ask you too, since the week has came to a finale. Overall, as far as like Kawasaki's, because obviously everybody's that you've dealt with has been on KTM's, but how did the Kawasaki's do throughout the week overall?
Honestly, that's probably one of the biggest questions that we've got. Somebody asked us, as far as I'll start specifically with Ayden. We look at his KTM results over the past couple of years, and he was right around that 10th place spot.
Yeah.
Whether it was in B or even last year, his very first race was Minio's last year in A.
Right.
And he was right around that 10th place spot. And then even at Loretta's, he was right around the 10th place spot. And then we go to the Cowie, and I feel like the Cowie fits him better.
Well, plus on top of Ayden's deal, like this whole year, he's had a whole new program.
Right.
Obviously, that you've helped out with. So, like, between the bike, he said to me that I love the Kawasaki compared to what he was riding. But as a picture, as the whole picture, obviously his program has helped him out as far as a racer. But as far as the product, now that you are dealing with Kawasaki,
yeah,
it's
I'm
pretty good week. Or
I'm extremely happy with him. I mean, Carson went out, won 3 titles after only being on the bike for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine what Carson's going to do when he can get some time in the saddle on that bike. It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And for only being on the bike in 2 weeks, my expectations for Carson's was, try and go out there and get some top 5s, and to win 3 titles and be one of the fastest 85 kids out there on the track. He's gelling with the bike too.
Yeah.
And that Pro Circuit Team Green Kawasaki is a great mini bike. It's a great bike. And our big bikes, the 250s, and even the 450 in the 450 Pro Sport class. I mean, Ayden got 2nd overall. That is a bone stock 450.
yeah, it's awesome.
There is not a single thing done to it. I mean, that motor is straight off the showroom floor from Barney's of Brandon, and stock pipe, stock ECU, stock everything. And I know he's on a 450, and 450s are a lot, but he didn't want it modded. I mean, he said straight up, he's like, I don't want to add any more power to this because it's so fast.
There's no need.
Yeah, I mean, and that 450 is so fast, but even our 250, that's a bone stock ECU. And
Dookie, we turn our phones off for the show.
I just noticed that.
That's all right, man.
But no, I think the bikes did great. I mean, Kawasaki had a good week overall, and our team was there. I mean, at Minio's, as far as semis go, we were the only semi there that was representing Kawasaki. Kawasaki did have their support trailer and support. They had a sprinter there.
Oh, did they? I was going to ask that if they had any presentation there.
They did. They had their tents and their stuff. But as far as semis go, we were the only Kawasaki semi there. And it was the first time for me meeting the guys at Kawasaki. It's the first time I've ever met Ryan Holiday in person. And
good. How did that go?
It was good. Ryan didn't come in, I think, until Motocross. He didn't come in for the Supercross part, so I think he flew in Wednesday. But the other two, Derek and Mario, we gelled with them from the very beginning. I mean, they were so easy to deal with. I mean, we were working on Drew's bike under our awning, and I personally took his triple tree and his steering stem bearings out, and they came over to the truck and put a new one on, and we would just wheel the bike from our truck over there for Carson, and they would just kind of check it over it. But after that, they basically told Dookie, listen, we know that you're under the awning over there. You do what you need to do.
Right.
So it worked out good. I mean, I think we personally, I think we had a professional image, for Kawasaki. I think we had a good team. I think our results, showed that, and we just got to continue to prove to people out there that we're taking the right steps to move in the right direction. But I think this week was a great step in the right direction. And, like I said, just getting to meet Tyler Hayes and Jeff Hoover and Aaron Kane, with Oakley. I mean, I met Aaron at Loretta's, but to actually spend time with him,
Right.
I mean, that was a big deal. So I think that, it was a good week. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, The most successful week, as far as the guys that you've been dealing with Ayden, that I've seen thus far, and so it looks like the program is going in the right direction for sure.
Yeah.
The presentation was good. The professionalism was good.
Yeah.
You never knew it was a brand new team first time out.
Hey, did you ever come in a situation where like an outside kid would come up and thinking that maybe you were like Kawasaki support, like looking for parts or anything like that?
All the time, every day.
Yep, every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
I knew that was going to happen.
I had multiple people come up and ask, hey, can I buy some spokes from you guys, or can I buy a lever? Can I buy a clutch, or can I buy this? And I'm like, we're not the Cowie truck.
Yeah.
And
it's heartbreaking because you know that they need something, and it's like, well, we don't. We have a semi, but it's not just stock full of parts, bud.
Yeah. No, that's definite. But it's fun for me too. Like just even as the team owner, we made sure the truck was stocked with food. We made sure everybody had something to eat, snacks, breakfast, lunch. We had lunch meat stuff. We had dinners planned out. Kept the truck. We went through so many bottles of water. Dookie and I were taking half drank bottles of water daily and throwing them away because we didn't know whose they were, and they would just be scattered and left everywhere. And this is funny too.
That's part of it, though. You're never going to get away from that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
even at the pro level, you got people that come along and they drink something and set it on the table. I mean, that's just part of racing.
We went through probably about 2 cases of water per day.
Yeah, I believe it. I'm surprised it's only 2 cases, to be honest with you.
Well, because we also had cases of body armor and BioLights and everything else. But, I think probably close to 15 to 20 cases of water, probably close to that too in beers for after hours. The food, my wife, Anna, came up. She was a huge part of the whole thing as far as the sponsor dinners. But, we went to Sam's Club 3 different times, and there was not one time that we went to Sam's Club that our bill was under $1,000.
Yeah.
And we went to Sam's Club in Gainesville three times to pull off, food and drinks and keep stuff stocked for the truck. And that's the stuff that people don't see. The every night vacuuming and sweeping the trailer, every morning making sure that drinks are on ice and cooled down. I mean, by the end of the week, we were out of water by Saturday.
Yeah.
I mean, we had no bottles of water anywhere.
Easy to do.
Yeah, and that's just stuff that you don't know, you don't think of. But, like Dookie would come in every morning and make sure that stuff was going on ice and organized, and the fridge was cold, and trash cans were dumped in the semi and cleaned out. And, we did have Drew specifically request, and I don't know, he's probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but Drew specifically requested grape and peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables.
Yeah.
Tri-colored goldfish and blueberry Pop-Tarts. Every day we went to the store. We went through probably 6 boxes.
Well, when you're Drew Adams, you can request stuff like that.
Well, at 14...
he's kind of big time,
It's the same thing, though. Like, even we talk about with Jet and, Johnny O, these guys are burning so many calories that, like Jet with the donuts, and I know Johnny O said that he wasn't, overly concerned about what he's eating because he's burning so many calories.
Right.
And same thing with Drew. Drew's 14 years old, and he's out there racing 4 different classes. He's multiple times a day on the track. So we had to have grape Uncrustables and then the tri-colored goldfish and blueberry Pop-Tarts. And when I tell you, those blueberry Pop-Tarts, we would put a new box out on the shelf, and within 2 hours, they were gone.
I mean, honestly, if that's his only request, you got it pretty good.
Yeah.
Because that's nothing. Wait till he becomes a pro adult guy. Yeah, the requests are going to get out of control.
Well, it was funny for me. And then the other one that we had, too, was Wyatt Dorr. And Wyatt, it just got that brand new 112, Kawasaki 112, and I tell you, to me, he had probably one of the most factory looking bikes out there. Those Step Up MX graphics on his bike were beautiful.
Yeah.
And the bike is always super clean. His dad Heath, great friend of mine, helped me a lot this week, and he keeps that bike super clean. But that was his very first race at an AMA major.
Right. He's raced, but just locally.
Yeah, locally. Never at that level. So for him to go out there and get to learn and experience. And
was he overwhelmed, or like what was he saying?
I'm sure. I didn't get a chance to really like get inside of his head, but I'm sure it's overwhelming. I mean, that's a huge track, and you got big time guys, and it's an AMA major event, and there's thousands of people there. So I'm sure, but at some point you've got to learn. You know, you got to see what it's all about, and he was able to do that. So that was cool, you know, to see him get his first time. And towards the end of the week, I mean, we did the non-traditional Thanksgiving meal on Thursday. So
Man, that looked good, all that seafood.
oh yeah,
Not gonna lie.
yeah. Instead of the traditional, you know, turkey, gravy, stuffing, we did a non-traditional seafood boil. So we had alligator sausage, oysters, crawfish, shrimp, potatoes. What else was there? I mean, salad, yeah. So we did a non-traditional. We had so much left over from Thanksgiving night that we did it all over again on Friday night.
Dang.
Yeah, so two nights of a seafood boil, you know, because Brian, you know, my partner in crime in this, and he brought up a bunch of seafood with him, and
Y'all at Minios like living like kings.
we
sounds
were.
Like.
Yeah, we did.
were.
We did. I mean, we put on a big show, and it was a lot. I mean, you know, just as far as our reach alone, and this was funny because I was talking to Tyler Croshaw about this.
Yeah, let's go over the numbers.
So 315,000 was our reach, plus it was over 315,000 was our reach between all of our platforms. We had multiple videos on TikTok that were in the thousands. We had one video specifically go to, right now I want to say it's about 180,000 views.
Wow.
We had YouTube videos, YouTube shorts that were hitting 5,000-6,000 each across multiple.
I'm showing
videos.
here TikTok 223,000.
223,000 just on TikTok alone.
TikTok.
Yeah. Our Instagram Reels, our Instagram reach was up to 46,000. Our YouTube was up. Our followers increased just in 1 week alone at Minios. Our followers increased by almost 4,000 people.
Jeez, that's
Yeah.
insane.
No,
Good, I mean, good for you guys. That's awesome.
it's huge. We got to keep it going and keep plugging along, and hopefully that can turn into where if there's a potential sponsor listening saying, man, these guys are on the up and up, and you know, when you're talking about, you know, over $250,000 and not far off, probably in the next couple of days as these videos grow and get views and people get home from Minios. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we were at 500,000, you know, by the end of this week.
Yeah, I hope. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and the other side of that too is trying to educate people about the Future MX Radio podcast and sharing it on all the different platforms of social media and letting your buddies know when you're at the track, you know, hey, give these guys a listen. I mean, we're here to give, you know, a future and an opportunity to these people, and you know, we're very grateful this week, and you know, the Drew Adams and Carson Wood and Ayden Shive and what they're doing, and we're gonna talk about some of the stuff as far as moving forward.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. So Minios is over.
Yeah.
Great week for you guys. Great week for the riders. Great week for everybody. You even got Dookie here.
Yeah, we got Dookie here. Dookie's gonna stay with us for a little bit.
So what's next? I mean, is there anything new coming up? Is, you know, new plans, new people that you met? Like what's going on in the future of future motocross?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question, and it's still something that's not fully nailed down yet. We did have the opportunity to meet quite a few people at Minios, and that was awesome. It's exactly what we went there to do. Like we just talked about with our reach and our followers, and you know, going to that high of a number is great. Obviously, we want to keep it going and make it more, but at the same time, you know, we do have to come up with what the plan is moving forward, and we're working through some of those conversations that we did have this week. I need to get back into the office on Monday, and when I get behind my desk at the computer and I can put some of this stuff together and try and get things in writing and get things confirmed, I can probably talk a little bit more, probably even on next week's episode about exact details. But right now, you know, we want to see if we can figure out a way to keep Duke down here, and with all of his connections and the people that he knows and the pedigree of, you know, the background of history that he has. I mean, it would be awesome to have Duke a part of our program full time, which we're working on. We just, you know, I got to get through a couple of the conversations that happened this week. But
the reason why I'm asking is because Minios is over, and now December's coming. We got all of December, and then obviously Supercross is right around the corner, and you actually have a guy on your team right now that has the capability of racing professionally.
Yep. So I
didn't know if I should bring that up or if there's any talks about
well,
that.
I can tell you for Ayden specifically because I do know the answer to that one. That's firm, and that is that Ayden will no longer be racing amateur racing.
Okay.
That was
I didn't know that, so I'm glad I brought it up.
That was Ayden's last amateur race.
Oh, good.
I personally don't see what the benefit would be for him to continue in the A class as an amateur for one more year.
Right.
Ayden already got his feet wet a little bit in Supercross last year by doing the Supercross Futures between going to WW, Atlanta, and then Salt Lake City.
Yeah, he's doing great at Supercross.
Yeah, he rides Supercross well, and that was only with a couple weeks of being on a Supercross track. So I think right now, Ayden, I can speak for pretty firmly that he is going to be going on to the Cowie 250, and he will be going Supercross exclusively at the compound.
Okay, good.
And going to start training for East Coast Lights Supercross.
Very good.
I know we will not be able to take the truck to every round of East Coast Light Supercross just because of the cost. And, I am the truck driver. I am the truck cleaner.
Well, I mean, I just haven't had the chance to help you drive it again. But at least there are some Supercross races around here locally. This upcoming schedule's pretty good for us.
I had that conversation multiple times this week. For a Florida-based team and a Florida-based rider, this particular season schedule is very favorable.
Very good.
When they added Tampa back in and they've added Nashville, they kept Atlanta and Daytona. So between Atlanta, Daytona, Tampa, Nashville, all four of those rounds are day trips.
Yeah, super cool.
Easy access from Florida. I mean, Nashville straight up 75, Atlanta straight up 75, Daytona's only a couple hours away, and Tampa's in our backyard.
Yeah.
So having those four races, we will probably have the semi. Right now, we are.
Can I call dibs driving to Nashville?
Yeah, if you're going to commit. Yeah.
I'm taking my guitar too, so I might do some.
That's fine. Yeah, you can do our sponsor dinner on Friday night.
I don't know about that, but anyway,
get you on stage downtown.
Yeah, I'm going.
Take you to Honky Tonk Central.
Hell yeah!
But no, like that would be kind of a cool one for sure.
Yeah, so it is. It's a favorable schedule. The first round is actually in Texas. I don't believe that we will have the semi at that one. I mean, if we can, that would be great. But I just don't know if the budget and the fuel and drivers and hotels, the cost of doing that. I don't know if that's going to be realistic unless we can get some people on board that want to help. And if they do, then we'll take it there. But it takes a lot of money to go racing, especially at the professional level. But the good thing about being at the professional level is that you get a lot more coverage. You've got TV exposure on national television broadcast, and that helps as far as gaining sponsors. So we'll talk about that. I would like to put a second rider under the awning for East Coast Supercross because if we're going there already with Ayden, we have another rider specifically that I talked to this week that we would like to get nailed down.
Right. That
can go, and those two riders would go do East Coast Supercross. And then we would like to try and continue to support the amateur because that's what Future MX was built around, was amateur racing. But I do know that the semi itself will definitely be, and I will commit to this and guarantee, the semi will definitely be at Minio's, Daytona, and Loretta's. Those three rounds is what we got the semi for. I don't know if it will go to Freestone for the amateur side. Because Texas is far, and I also don't know if at that time, maybe between now and then we do end up nailing down a larger sponsor to put this truck on the road for the East Coast rounds. And the way that Daytona is, we're fortunate because it's like a double-edged sword. You've got pro Supercross Saturday, and then you've got the amateur stuff for the RC championships.
Just hang out
Sunday, Monday. Yeah. So the semi will stay at Daytona for the weekend. But the way that Daytona is, as soon as it wraps up, you essentially pack the truck immediately after your last moto, get in the truck, and drive to Freestone.
Yeah.
And that's what we did last year, just out of a pickup truck and enclosed trailer.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's going back to the roots of motocross. Like, you know what I mean?
Racing every weekend.
Yeah, racing every weekend in the back of a pickup truck or a box van.
Yeah.
Well, and the cost of fuel right now. I mean, diesel's up over $5 a gallon, and that truck only gets about 5 miles to the gallon when it's loaded down. So, you're talking about going all the way to Texas and Indy and New Jersey. It's just not realistic right now.
Right.
I mean, it's possible when you're doing day trips like Tampa, Daytona, Atlanta, and Nashville. Those are a lot more financially possible. But those long ones, we might just do some of those out of a Sprinter and just put the 2 guys with
Yeah,
a
for sure.
Sprinter and a mechanic and, go hit the road for those rounds. But it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but I believe the first round is Dallas, and then they go to Tampa is the second round, and then they go back to Texas, which I think the third round is Houston, and then they come to Daytona. So they basically go Texas, Florida, and then I think we end up going Atlanta, Nashville, New Jersey, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then the showdown obviously is in Salt Lake City.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner, obviously, and
It's gonna be here before you know it.
yeah, and
I mean, you think about it, February 4th. I mean, next week is December. So you're talking December, January, and then boom, racing. So 8 weeks out right now, and
there's a lot to be figured out between now and then.
yeah.
But it's
Tell me about
all this. Hey, not to stress you out, but all this is moving really quickly, obviously, and
Yep.
Minios is a big week for you, and now there's this situation with Supercross and still supporting the amateurs coming up, and
Yeah. Well, we want to try and keep Dookie around. I mean, Dookie was, up there, Illinois, outside of Chicago. So Dookie's going to stay down here in Florida for a little while, and we're going to try and sort through kind of what our plan is moving forward. I mean, he has a whole notepad of notes that he wrote. I mean, Duke, you were jotting stuff down every day.
Yeah, every day.
Dookie, it's way warmer down here, buddy.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah, so you might as well just hang out.
I plan on it.
All right.
Yeah.
I plan on staying for a while.
Well, I mean, it's simple things like labeling the drawers in the semi.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work.
There's so many toolboxes and drawers and cabinets in that semi that you don't even know where everything is. So having the ability to have someone like Dookie come in and say, it would be best if this was next to this, if this was where this went to go.
Well, a lot of the times there's an off season, and like you spent months doing that and reorganizing your truck and all that. Like with going to Minios and
a lot of people don't know and don't see. I mean, how much cleanup there is.
Yeah,
I mean, Duke and I got up this morning, 7 a.m. I mean, we didn't bring the truck back. We didn't get back to the house last night till almost 9 o'clock. When we left, there was traffic on the interstate was terrible through Ocala. Coming south on 75, I don't know if anybody had to come that way after they were leaving Minios, but there was a stretch of almost 20 miles that we didn't go over 10 miles an hour. So I mean, it took us a lot longer to get home than we thought. I was in the semi, Pooh was in my truck hauling our camper, and Duke was right behind him. So we were sorting through, coming through all that traffic and getting the truck back. But then this morning, everybody thinks, okay, well, Minios is over. No. Minios isn't over. And we still have a lot of cleanup. We got to go through the truck. We got to go through the trailers. We got to get bikes unloaded. I mean, refrigerators cleaned out, campers dumped. I mean, there is so much to it. We haven't even scratched a dent in it yet.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point there where you're driving home. The drive home is already stressful and exhausting in an 18-wheeler, right? I mean,
Right.
Well, I should ask you, how was it?
Stressful and exhausting.
Well, are you getting any more comfortable driving it?
Oh yeah, way more comfortable. I mean, shifting through traffic was way better than before. Making my turns, making sure I'm swinging wide, and you just got to remember how long that trailer is. That trailer's it's out there.
He earned his pro card.
Yeah.
He did good. Real good.
No, I think I'm way better with it now than I was when we were bringing it back from Iowa. But at the same time, you learn, but, I would say probably the most stuff that people don't see is, pressure washer throughout the week at Minios and having all the tools that you need in the truck and things that are missing. And then the other side of it really is food. I mean, I can tell you, we went to Sam's Club, we went to Publix, we went to multiple different places. And I'm just going to throw a pretty close ballpark number would probably be about $5,000 just in food.
Yeah, I stepped away. What did we determine we needed and did not have, or
Well, Dookie has a list of about 3 pages long of stuff that we need, but we're going to have to reel him in a little bit because he doesn't know our budget. So
yeah.
When he's writing down, I mean, we sent one of the guys to Home Depot midweek and we bought ladders, brushes, vacuums, stuff that, shop vac, stuff that we just didn't think about.
That is not stuff that you need when you're pitting out of a truck, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you don't think that, but, I'm sitting there like, man, we're missing a bunch of stuff. But ran to Home Depot and grabbed some of that. And I'll tell you this, spare keys.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't think about that, but when we bought that
You
truck,
do when you don't have them.
we bought that truck from Gas. We had one set of keys.
Don't lose them.
Well, we did. So,
Well, momentarily.
yeah. So I am at the truck at night. This was probably 10 o'clock at night, and I am trying to find the keys to lock the truck and lock the trailer. And one of our guys had the keys previously. I called him 12 times, went to the area that he was sleeping, banged on the door, trying to get a hold of him, and could not get a hold of him at all. And after a couple hours, we ended up finding them in a completely different spot than where we thought they would be. So that was an eye-opener. So the next morning, I made him, the guy that we could not find the keys, which was our buddy Mitch, I made him go to the store and get us 4 spare sets of keys. So now Brian has a set, I have a set, there's a truck or there's a set that goes in the truck or with the truck, and then we just keep a spare. So we got that resolved.
I know we were talking about some of the other teams that had like lighting underneath the canopy and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got to work on that.
You some of those items that you picked up. And
Sorry,
maybe
buddy. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, the lighting under the awning, and the other thing I'll tell you is that with it being a black awning, I did not think about that. But most of the other awnings there are a very light color, even a white or
Yeah, I was
gray
noticing.
on the top, and then they have their colors on the side, whether it's
Yeah.
blue, red, black, whatever. But we went with a full black
just
awning,
straight murdered out.
and it's tough because it blocks a lot of light. So one thing I would say is that if anybody is going to build an awning for a semi in the future, and you're listening to this show right now, do a white or gray top and your logo in color instead of a black awning with the logo in white.
Well, do you think that it's a bad thing or?
It looked
Because
clean.
Yeah, it's an increased
just
amount of
dark.
shade.
It is. It's
It
just,
wasn't hot, so we don't know how that's going to behave yet.
right. If it was in the, if we were in the middle of an outdoor,
You know how it's going to behave.
Is it going to be? It's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
yeah.
Okay.
100%. I mean, a black car is hotter than a white car.
Yeah, but I was curious if the wind, if there would be some breeze possibly, if it had actually increased the shade, or if it was just like having a hot tarp on top of you.
I've never had a black tarp for all the
figure it out.
reasons you guys are talking about right now.
Yeah, so you're going to figure it out
Yeah.
one way or the other.
Your downright poles have plugs and stuff in them, though.
No.
Nothing.
Well, I thought they had plugs at the very bottom.
No.
They don't?
Our awning does
Plugs
not
at the
have.
bottom, middle, or
There's
top.
no outlets in
And there's
our
no
hardware.
no outlets along the.
Okay.
All of our outlets are under the trailer, so they're in weatherproof box in the framing of the trailer.
Okay, well,
So you can plug in. There's 6 outlets under the trailer, but that's the only outlet. So we would run the lights that we did end up getting, which was essentially shop lights and string lights, just to get us through this week. We would take the extension cord from the outlet and go to the frame rails of the awning and take an extension cord up to the top and then plug into them.
okay. Well, let's get together on that one later on. I'll show you.
But it
it's not hard to install.
Oh,
It's
trust
not
me.
hard to install.
Yeah, and trust me, we got through the week. I mean,
Yeah,
it was no, it was,
Again, it wasn't.
it wasn't bad at all.
But if that thing goes to Supercross, I'm just pre-warning you.
yeah. Oh,
It's got to be done.
we are increasing
Absolutely,
our lights.
it's got to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on the list.
it's on the,
It's on
the
Dookie's list.
Big time.
which means absolutely it's got to be done.
The gospel of Dave.
Yeah. So.
But as far as installing or whatever, like obviously, we'll get it done, buddy.
Oh yeah. No, I know we can get it done, but Duke, talk about some of the other stuff that you have on your list, like just miscellaneous things that people don't think about, like the brush that we had Mitch go get.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about why that was so important,
it's
because
just a regular.
metal starting gates.
Yeah, it's just a regular brush that you'd clean your tires with. A little black handle with the yellow.
course.
You think, but you need those to clean those starting gates, and it works great. So you clip that on your belt. I'm big into a wire brush, just the cheap $2 wire brush that a welder uses to clean up his welds.
Yeah.
I'm a big that on my chain.
Oh,
And
for
if
sure.
the bike comes off, that's the first thing I do is clean my chain
Yeah, get that crap out
with
of
the
there.
wire brush, and then lube it while it's still warm because it runs down into the thing. My sprockets and chains outlast everybody's 2 to 1,
Yeah.
just because of the way it's taken care of.
Yeah. What else you got?
Sledgehammer. You never thought of that? A big sledgehammer to drive your stakes in that hold your tent down in case there's a tornado.
I told RJ about, you know, going from the front down to the bottom part of the trailer, just in case there's a big wind that comes up. All that stuff's a big learning curve, especially for RJ because, you know, he's new at owning a race semi. But yeah, like I wish I could have been there, which I will be there. But my work doesn't. But yeah, Dookie, you know.
Yeah.
You know how it works. So.
Yeah. There's a lot of just little things that we're gonna add. You need some fans. We don't have any fans.
Yeah.
Luckily.
I was just gonna ask you about that as far as like the little mechanic fans that, like cool the bike down and stuff, like for clutch changes
we have them,
and stuff like that.
You know, we're gonna have to get a few of those, and we buy those little medium steel ones that you just plug in. But it's good for each rider to have one individually, and even if he ain't using it, you spin it up and set the helmet on it, and drives the helmet and the gloves. And, you know, each guy usually has one of those, and you can also hang them in the corners with just a jerry-rigged hook that, you know.
Hey, you should put a line through stripper pole. I see it on your list.
We already did.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. All right, good. Hey, are you sure you want to keep Dookie around, man? He's gonna cost you a lot of money with all these lists, man.
But you see how he's already starting to put lines.
Yeah, no, but like it's important. There's a lot of tools that go along with racing that
You have no idea.
you have to have.
If we didn't have Pooh with us, we would have had we would have needed a 20-foot ladder.
Yeah.
You know, we can get by with a 16-footer.
Yeah, just because Pooh's tall enough to reach everything, you know, because Duke only being 4'2" is
It's not
hard to reach the awning.
Yeah.
good.
But that's why his chains always last longer because he's closer to the chain on the dirt bike than he is the rafters of the tent.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
People don't understand that part of
You
it.
can expect it better.
Well, and that's one thing I'm very proud of. And Duke, I know you told this story to me before, but talk about when you were with up at the Carmichael at the Goat Farm, Jeannie. One of the things that she instilled in you was the no DNF.
Oh, yeah.
I heard about your record.
Yeah.
So let's hear about it.
When you show up at Carmichael's, you don't show up with one bike. It's two bikes. And she'll tell you it's going to bite you because whether you have a flat tire or chain breaks or, you know, it goes to shit quick, you have to have another bike. Well, I got burned on it one day because I was only 20 minutes away, didn't have, my 250s were down, so we brought a 450. She wondered why we only brought one bike. And it bit me, got a flat tire, so you missed a session. You know, like she says, it doesn't bother me, it hurts you, which it does. You've missed a whole 20 minutes or a half-hour session because you didn't have a spare bike and you had to fix the one you got.
Right.
Well, and the big thing with her too was the no DNF record.
Yeah,
You know.
I don't, and knock on wood, I've been lucky, but I did, what's his name's chain 4 times the other day, not racing at all, and I know the bike is completely ready. I did spokes 2 or 3 times, and every time I'd look at the chain, it seemed like it was a different length, you know, then I get my tape out, and I changed it 4 times in a one day, and it always went back to the same way it did. It just,
Well,
I check every nut and bolt. I start at one end, walk around, but I don't have, you know, probably in the last 20 years, I have 2, maybe 3 DNFs, and it's from mechanical failures. It's not from a shifter falling off, the front wheel falling off, or, you know.
Internal mechanical failures.
Mechanical failures, yep, internal mechanical failures.
Well, I was very proud of that this week. You know, that our bikes finished every race. We never had any bike with a mechanical issue. We were able to finish the race. We did have one moto on the 250s with Ayden that we had some concern because we had a little bit of white smoke coming out of it just because we had a nut that was loose. But it was absolutely nothing at a fault at all as far as Pooh or, you know, Ayden, and it was nothing on them. So
Yeah.
we had a great week as far as our, you know, bikes making it through, the riders, you know, minimal issues with the riders as far as hitting the ground or, you know, making big mistakes. I mean, just small things here and there, which is always going to happen, and things you work on and work through. But overall, it was great, and I do want to take this moment right now to say thank you specifically to Pooh, you know, Justin Pooh Sipes, Dave Dukey, my other partner in crime in this right now, Brian. Mitch was a big help. He cooked for us 2 nights, helped clean the truck, was vacuuming the trailer, sweeping stuff. Little Brian, he was a big help cleaning stuff up also and loading things and putting things away. Donnie Shive, which is Ayden's uncle. Donnie did a great job, helping us clean up. He was one of the last ones there with us when we went to leave. I mean, when other team members, even Ayden had already left and Mitch and Brian left, I mean, Donnie stayed as one of the very last guys, and he was up in the top of the semi and loading stuff up, so that was a huge help. I do want to say a big thank you to Chris Wood, Jacqueline Wood, the Woods family. I mean, their whole family, grandparents, brothers. I mean, they all, were a big help to me, and it's nice to be able to bounce ideas off of them. Chris and I were able to have a night multiple times throughout the week where we could get to the side and I could vent to him or, tell him something that was on my mind and talk to him about things that were going on because, Dave, Dookie's busy, Pooh's busy, they're working on bikes, doing things, and my wife was only able to be there for a couple days, and then she had to leave because she was going to go see her family over on the east coast of Florida, and I just didn't. I don't have a whole ton of people right around that I can, talk to and bounce ideas off of without, obviously I don't want to say the wrong thing or have somebody that takes it the wrong way. So it was nice to be able to come back, to the truck and pull one of them to the side and vent or talk, about conversations that I had with other people and, try and get ideas of how to move forward. And Heath Dorr, I want to say a huge thank you to Heath. Heath was there in the truck and helping me with things throughout the week. I mean, anytime I asked him to do something for me, just because we truly were going 14, 16, 18 hours a day, every day. But, all the riders, the Adams family, and I know that sounds funny saying that, the Adams family, but, Ronnie and Heather, Drew, they were so much fun to be around. And I'll tell you, it does lift some of the, stress and tension when you get Drew around and some of the stuff that comes out of that kid's mouth, man. He and Ayden would just go back and forth with each other and joke and play around. I mean, we were in the semi, inside the semi, and we had a camera crew there doing an interview with Ayden, and Drew totally wrecks it. Just comes in.
Why wouldn't he?
It just comes in and starts, messing with Ayden and joking around behind the camera and just completely wrecks the interview. We had to retake it like 3 times inside the semi. But that was a cool thing too. And I do want to say, give credit where credit's due. And I mean, the Ty Mill photo, I believe it's Tyler Miller. Is that right, Tyler?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, so Tyler Miller, I mean, he was big in the 4-1 media. Rob shot a lot of photos for us throughout the week and even on the podium. He sent me one last night, of us on the podium. And, we always talk about budget and we talk about the expensive things. And, for these guys to just, walk over to the truck, I think I know Dalton, was it Dalton Flowers?
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. So Dalton, these guys all week long are out there on the track supporting us and what we're trying to do and our goals and, make that stuff happen. That was big, I mean, they would just walk over the truck and airdrop photos to us and we could use them on social media. And I can't say thank you to all those people enough. I wanted to make sure that I got that out there, that between the Unlimited Sports staff, between, Ashley Barnes, the Morris family, Kyle Keelan, Mike Burkeen, the refs, Wynn and Kim Kern were, exceptional people to deal with all week. And just the love we got from EB with, getting everything in and being able to come in early and drop it off just because of the logistics of setting all this stuff up. A huge thank you to all of those people. And, we did mention some before. I mean, I was texting back and forth with Dazzy. Shane, I was telling you about this before the show. I mean, Dazzy Lawrence, Jet came up and hung out with us for a couple days, played cornhole under the semi and spent a lot of time around the semi. And, just that little bit of presence being around there was really beneficial. And I think we made a great impression for the whole week. So thank you to all of those people and the people that do support us. They share us. They talk about us. I can't do it without every one of those people. But I want to take a second right here before we talk about moving forward and what else we're doing and say HBI Tax big thanks to our sponsor of this episode, episode 11, HBI Tax, Mr. Matt Bell, the HBI Tax Group. They do domestic and foreign taxes. They can help you with multiple different things. You can look at their website, anything that you need done. Duke, I'm sure you probably haven't paid taxes in a while, so you can get with Matt.
Hey, you got me straight. We've already had this conversation on the show. I've been avoiding taxes for like 15 years, and I finally called this guy, and he's like, dude, I'm going to get you straight. So
I'm the guy.
Yeah. And Morgan
he's helped me out. He can help you out.
I want to also say thank you to the Morgan Stanley Financial Group. They're going to be joining our program and coming on board, putting a logo on the side of the semi. The Morgan Stanley Financial Group is led out of their Tampa division, the Medina and Parton Group, which is Bo Parton. They have been awesome of wanting to get behind what we're doing. They love our goal. They love our concept. And I'm extremely grateful to have them involved. People truly don't understand how much that means to me and to the team overall. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. So we kind of beat around the bush a little bit, Shane, earlier when we were talking about moving forward and going on. But we talked about doing the East Coast Supercross.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna divulge a little bit here until we get some of it nailed down in writing and set in stone. But what we would like to do, and it's not done deal yet, but what we would like to do is join forces with the HBI Racing, which is the HBI Tax and Matt Bell.
Okay.
He loves the concept and loves what we're doing, and Matt's been great for me. I call him frequently and bounce ideas off of him and kind of share some of the knowledge and info that I've gained or created. He helps a lot of people. They've got multiple different riders at multiple different levels. What we would like to do is essentially create the Future MX HBI Racing Elite program. So what that would mean is that if you are, potentially a top 10 finisher in the A class or top 10 finisher in the B class, we haven't really worked out all those details yet. We don't know, and maybe I'm speaking too early. Matt might not like talking about it yet, but what we would like to do is be the Future MX HBI Racing Elite level, where the people that he's helping through the HBI Racing program, because he helps quite a few people and helps, at different levels. I mean, some may be getting support on a bike or a trainer or a compound or whatever it may be. But one of the guys that he's helping right now is Cole Bradford. I've known Cole, not personally. I've known the name and I've known of Cole for years. Cole is a Tampa guy, kind of out of the Brandon area. For a long time, he's been dealing with Extreme Power Sports, which is Hans, and Hans has been great to me over my time in motocross. And I know he's done a lot of stuff, for Cole, and he has been lately. He's riding a gas cast right now, but we want to get Cole switched over to a Cowie and put Cole Bradford and Ayden as the 250 Pro Lights East Coast team.
Oh, nice.
So Matt loves the idea, loves the concept. We talked about it multiple times throughout this week at Minios. And if there's an opportunity there where possibly Dookie could help us, whether it's with Carson at Sandbox or Cole at Sandbox or combine both, mixed together, that's an opportunity that we're going to explore and see if we can make something like that happen. But
so Cole Bradford, he's professional.
Nope. He raced at Minios.
Oh, okay.
He was right around. I don't have his exact results right in front of me, but I know he was right around the 8 to 10,
okay.
8 to 12 maybe. Just depends on the motos. He had some good rides, but Cole had a pretty good injury. I want to say it was about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now. So he's been in the amateur level in A, and I just feel personally, and maybe it's not right, but this is just my thoughts, that I don't know what Ayden or Cole would gain by staying in A any longer. They both have their pro points. They both have enough to get their pro card. So at this point where they're at, I just think it makes sense to move forward. I mean, what do you think, Duke?
Yeah, definitely, because like you said, there's nothing more for them and the amateurs, so you might as well go and mix it up.
Does this Cole Bradford have Supercross experience?
Not a ton, but the good thing is that he does have, the Sandbox, which has great facilities there.
Yeah.
We had Kyle and
those
and
guys
Tyler.
are great.
He's got points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have some.
So he did the same thing that Ayden did as
He
far
didn't-
as
he
like the
didn't
features,
do-
or no?
No, he didn't do his futures, but the way that Minios works is that the Supercross portion only, not in the MX portion, but the Supercross portion only at Minios pays Supercross points.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So depending on, and I don't know if they did it this year or not, and this is where I'm terrible because I don't study and read the rule book every day, but I know Minios, or not Minios, Loretta's also can pay pro points. I don't know if they did this year or not, but between Loretta's and Minios, the 250 Pro Sport and 250A class,
Okay.
not the 450 Pro Sport or Open Pro Sport, those do not pay.
It's only the 250s.
Only 250.
Yeah.
So 250A and
makes
250
sense.
Pro, which is why we saw, a good friend of ours, good friend of the show, Caden Braswell. He came down. He raced Arena Cross on Friday night, drove to Gainesville Saturday, practiced, raced Supercross Sunday, Monday, got in a sprinter and left. He didn't do the motocross portion.
Right.
Because he was only there to get his points.
Okay.
So I know that's kind of how the structure is at Minios, at least for Supercross side. But we're working on getting some of the details and putting pen to paper and have things in writing. But Cole is somebody that Matt with HBI Racing and has already supported. He supported him there. He was running the HBI Racing graphics at Minios. Cole's a great kid. I got to spend some time with him this week. He spent some time with us at the semi. We would like to put him in head to toe, same gear, goggle, brand bike, everything that Ayden is. So that way we're matching across the board. So we'll probably get a very pretty looking set of step-up graphics for him and try and make sure he is already an Oakley athlete. He's already supported right now by, Oakley and Aaron Kane. So the only thing that, we've got to figure out is if we can get him in matching gear with the rest of the team. And then outside of that, send those two on the road to go race East Coast Supercross.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and have a little bit of presence in the pro side on the East Coast only, since we're an East Coast Florida-based team, and then continue trying to support Drew and Carson on the amateur side.
You got a busy schedule ahead of you, buddy.
Yeah. My wife is not happy. We got some gymnastics.
That's because I'm staying in the mother-in-law. That's why she's not.
Well, while you guys were at Minios, I was over here.
Were you?
Yeah, just cooking dinner and stuff.
I say you made the bed. You made the bed, so
for the
that was
family.
nice,
Yeah. But no, that's very exciting. Honestly, it's moving along quicker than what I thought. To be honest with you, maybe faster than what you expected. But I mean,
I think
one step at a time. That's great. If you've supported Ayden since he was a little monkey, and
on Super Minis. Yep.
So to see him get to this point, obviously you don't want to let him go. I mean, you want to help him out to get him to that next level.
Well, and I think we were fortunate enough this week to do quite a bit of media things. I mean, with the different people I mentioned before, Tyler Miller sent us some photos. The Dalton Flowers with the 4-1 Media did great work, and we've got videos coming that we haven't even put out yet. Tyler Kasha came up there, like he mentioned on the show already. He came up on Sunday, shot a lot of footage, and has a lot of stuff that we're going to do. We're going to put a video together that's going to be embedded into our website that talks about sponsorship and what it takes to go to a race. And we did an inside the semi video, we did an outside the semi video, we did an awning video. So there's a lot that we're going to build and put together and try and create a video that talks about the sponsorship and all the different people that were there. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Wynn came out and said that was the largest attendance for Minios that they've ever had.
Yep.
So a record year for them. And I don't know exactly what that number was, but I know it was a lot. And, you can see by our following on social media this week. I mean, like I said, with the reach, we have the professional dashboard. We can see all the analytics that we do between all of our different platforms. And right now, before we started the show, we were over 315,000 people from the week of Minios.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Gained almost 4,000 followers from the week of Minios. So, as those numbers continue to grow, that's great for us, and hopefully sponsors can see that when they come on board or they support the group and support the goal of the team, that we're able to do some type of return to them. It was great week result wise and media wise and photos and titles. I mean, I don't really know what more we could do.
I like them titles.
No, it was great, So now we just need that to turn into sponsorship and, financial stability for the team to be able to continue to move forward. So anybody that would be willing to jump on board, feel free, reach out to me. I mean, call me directly on my cell phone.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be huge.
No, anything. I mean,
any kind of support helps.
Even if it's a one race sponsorship. I mean, if it's somebody that wants us to, we could build a custom set of graphics just for one round of Supercross or one race, whether it's Loretta's or Daytona. I mean, if somebody wants to come in and be on board for one race specifically, we can build a graphics kit with Step Up MX. I mean, Troy and the boys, Wes, I mean, they help us so much as it is, and the designs that they come up with. That's one of the biggest compliments I got this week was how clean our graphics kit and our bikes are. I mean, just the design. It's not super busy and overdone. I mean, those bikes look good. I mean, they look great. Obviously, Drew and Carson are running the Team Green Cowie kits because that's what they're required to run, which is perfectly fine. But the actual Future MX graphics kits, which are available on Future MX website, if anybody wants those kits, there was a guy that came by the truck and was looking at Ayden's bike, and he asked, he's like, do you mind if I come under the awning just to take a picture of the bike? And I said, yeah, no problem. So he comes under, takes a picture, and asked me about Step Up MX, and I said, yeah, go ahead and reach out to them, but please tell them that we're the ones that sent you there. That helps us too. And he was like, I'm going to email them when I get back home, and he said, I'm going to tell them I want the Future MX graphics kit for my bike. And I'm like, that's huge.
That's cool.
That's huge. That's awesome.
It's cool.
So
awesome.
Anybody that can do that, and even something as simple as air filters. Duke probably has on his list air filters, air filter cleaner.
I hate cleaning air filters.
No Toil took such good care of us, as far as the Future MX team and what they've done for us, for Ayden for a while. And they shipped us pre-oiled air filters to the track.
Yeah.
Yeah, the track staff called me and they said, hey, you got a box up here. You need to come pick it up. I come pick it up. It's oil filter cleaner, oil filters, pre-oiled filters. I think he sent us, 10, 15, I don't know, but it was awesome.
That's part of it, getting intertwined with a good company.
Yeah, no, and that's great. And that's again, anybody that I can say that is looking for a pre-oiled filter. I mean, it makes it for a quick change, especially when you're at a big race and you got multiple motos back to back to back. No Toil and Ryan Jensen, and they did a great job for us this week and ship product straight to the track. And Tyler Hayes was the first time I really got to spend time with him and the Fox group. I mean, they were shipping product to the track. I mean, we had a minor issue with just some pant sizes, and they next day had the right pants there. So and they've been with Carson for a long time and take care of Carson really well. It's awesome to see them, and now they're on board, with Drew switching over to Fox and Ayden as well switching over to Fox. So it looks so nice. There was a day, so it's a little bit different. The adult kits and the youth kits are different, like color combos and designs. But there was a day that Ayden and Drew, non-planned, but they both wore the same kit.
Oh, yeah, I saw
and
that.
It looked so good. I mean, I was like, man, this is it. This is the most professional look you can.
RJ's dreams are coming true.
Yeah, they were. It was good.
And there'll be more of that because you're going to schedule them wearing the same things.
Yeah, if we would.
And Fox will work with you, and even with, Carson. All three of them could be wearing it. It's not they can be wearing it; they will wear it.
Yeah.
They will be all set up the same way.
And I mean, it just looks so good. I mean, the whole. I know anybody that can see our Instagram. I mean, we got so many texts. I got a text this morning. Is so proud of the team and what you guys have done in this week, and watching it as a fan from home on social media was, I mean. Tyler, you weren't able to make it up other than the one day Sunday, and then Shane, you didn't get to make it up.
No, but I was in my truck traveling and
were you watching
looking at results and stuff, and yeah, dude, I was like, wow, like
boys are scooting.
Good week, I was like, man, it's freaking pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I was watching. I was texting you. We were talking about the podium speeches and.
Did you notice how terrible the cell service was up there?
I mean, mostly because I could only text you, but I wasn't expecting a response.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi was working. I got the Wi-Fi.
Bless you, Dookie.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Wi-Fi. I'm so proud of you.
Very proud of you.
The Wi-Fi was working great when I was at the semi, but when I would leave the semi, I could not use my phone whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I would come back to the truck, sit in my little chair in the corner, and do all my social media stuff. And that was funny. We had somebody come up to the rail, and they were like, "Hey, do you guys have a truck driver?" I said, "Yeah, that's me." And they were like, "Well, who takes care of the truck like day to day?" I'm like, "That's me." Well, what about just stocking stuff, or what? I mean, is there anything we could do to help you? I was
You're
like,
looking at him.
no, that's me. I'm the social media manager. I'm the social media guy. I'm the truck driver. I mean, Duke was a huge help, cleaning stuff and making sure stuff was stocked. So was Pooh and everybody. I mean, it's a team effort. Don't get me wrong. But as far as when it comes down to, who's going to be the one that's going to clean the truck and get rid of the stuff in the fridge and restock the tools. I mean, Duke's here to help me right now, but getting everything loaded, getting the truck.
Hey, you for sure could have paid Drew to do it.
Well, I did pay Drew when we got back, and Drew and Ayden both cleaned that truck.
Yeah.
They were down on their hands and knees inside the truck. I should have taken more pictures of it, but I did have them come help me, and that's just there's a lot to it, man. And that was definitely a big week. I mean, I don't think. Obviously it depends on the which supercrosses we go to and how the pits are, but I know when we were at Atlanta and Daytona last year, we would not have to put the awning out because they park in the NASCAR
it depends.
spots.
Yeah.
So no awning going out would save a lot of time.
Yeah, that thing is.
I'm
not
only
a
going to
pop-up.
put that thing out for week-long events.
Okay.
Well, I guess at Supercross I have to, but depends on which Supercross because you don't have to put it out at Daytona or Atlanta. But
Once you get it down, it's an hour and a half project.
if you have the right people involved.
Yeah, and
When you have Duke at 4'2", then it's a couple hours longer.
It takes time.
you need two people.
Chasing that stand around, to stand on.
Yeah, I need,
Stand.
You got Dookie ladders on the list.
dude.
Two-stepper.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question. I think it's a bit of a pivot, but it was also announced this week, or I guess this week. Day in the Dirt down south. Are you gonna do anything with that event?
It depends on when that is, because typically that's right around Daytona.
In March, right?
Yeah. So if we are doing the East Coast Supercross stuff and it falls on the same weekend as Atlanta or Nashville, then no. But if there is the ability to be there, yes, I love that event.
Yeah, I let me check. I don't want to speak out of turn before I call, but I thought I saw that the date was actually moved up because of the Tampa round. Maybe I'm not sure. Let me check.
Okay.
Hey, can you believe I've set those tents up by myself?
The whole awning?
Yep.
There's no way.
You want to bet?
I mean,
our old truck driver.
You want to watch me do it?
I'm talking about for me.
It can be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could. It would just take more time. But I'll tell you this.
I've done it, and not to call Lars out and the rest of the group, but I've done it because those fools showed up late, and I don't have patience.
Yeah.
Full blown, they showed up to races and the damn tent's up.
Yep.
Well, that was part of my problem, and that was on me, and I can't fault anybody else for that. But Dookie and I were the only ones there on Friday morning when I wanted to start setting the tent up, and I told everybody else, because it was so cold, they weren't leaving Dade City and getting up there. I pretty much told everybody, get there about 10 a.m. Well, by 8 a.m., Dookie and I were ready to start putting it up.
Yeah,
Because
that's the way it works.
I was excited, I was antsy, and I wanted to start getting it out.
Yep.
So Duke and I essentially put the whole tent up by ourselves before anybody really got there.
Yeah.
We did need Pooh when he got there because of his height, but it's a learning. Like you said, man. Once we put that thing up, 3, 4, 5 times, we'll have it down. But
We're gonna tape it up too, though.
yeah, right now it's all labeled, and that was the good thing. If it wasn't for those pieces being labeled, it would have been a whole different ball game.
Absolutely.
But once it's up, it's a good thing.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it.
It just provides like separation. It provides a work area for the mechanics.
And that's probably a good thing to touch on right now. Is I will say that was probably the most frustrating thing for me throughout the week was trying to politely tell someone without completely ripping them apart to get out of the truck. Because what I think is specifically during the Supercross portion. During the motocross portion, it's not that bad. The motocross side, where we were parked at Minio's, the motocross track is on a different area, so there wasn't a million people around during Supercross racing, like there was during Supercross racing. But I would say during the first half of the week, it was hard because we do know a lot of people. We do have a lot of, local connections here in Dade City and Florida, and people that listen to the podcast. They want to come up and talk and do whatever. And, I would say the hardest thing for me was trying to explain to people, please stay out of the awning during race time. I don't mind if you want to come in there and hang out and see the truck or whatever after racing. But when you have people under the awning that get in the way of the mechanics, they get in the way of the riders, that is an area, the truck, specifically inside the truck, is an area for the guys to go and get away from everybody and clear their head, think about the race. The team can go inside and talk about the moto, talk about the bike, what's it doing, what do we need to improve on. And when you have... even one person could be blocking the doorway, or someone could be blocking the mechanic from getting from the bike to his toolbox because, the bikes are under the awning and every mechanic had their own table and boxo box sitting right behind them. So trying to get from the bike to the boxo, and you've got some random, dude, and I'm not saying random because, we didn't really have strangers come under there, but people that that have been around other places. And trust me, I am grateful for people's input, their opinion. That's the only way you evolve and learn. But at the same time, we have to be a functioning race team.
Yeah, it's not a hospitality.
Well,
It's not.
It's hard to distinguish.
Right. Who you let in and who you don't. And I got to, there was one time that there was somebody walking in or coming under the chain, and I was just like, whoa, stay out, get out. And it wasn't the person that was coming in. It was the fact that they had 3 people with them.
Yeah, it's
like, no,
it's hard playing It's hard playing the cop.
It's tough, man, and it puts me in a tough spot.
Honestly, at the pro level, which I've always been in, not so much the amateur level, but that's why we had designated hospitality areas.
Right.
And you don't cross that line unless you ask permission.
Right.
And because. Yeah, there's a lot of guys on your team that aren't getting paid, but they're still trying to do a job.
Right.
And
well,
it's hard to distinguish because our sport is an entertainment sport, and so they think the semi becomes a magnet to where that's part of the entertainment.
Yeah, and I don't mind. I don't mind after hours. I think we probably did the best job this week as far as bringing people in, letting people look at the truck, catering, entertaining, the bands, the food, the dinners. That's all fine and dandy after hours. It's the during racing that we need to be the one that talks to the riders first when they come off the track. Yeah. I need to know what the bike is doing. How do we make changes while it's fresh in your mind? As soon as you come off, we recap the race. After that, if the rider wants to get up and walk to the railing and talk to somebody and get their input or their opinion, that's fine. That's great. But as soon as they come back in, we got to get the bike checked over. Even Dookie, in his scenario with Carson wrenching for him all week, his motos were so close together, you can't get in the way. We don't have time. There was times where the bike would come back, we would check the chain, check the spokes, put fuel in it, send him right back out. Within a minute.
That's all part of learning too, though. And remember when we picked up that truck, I was like, man, it's a good thing you don't have a bathroom in this thing.
Yeah.
Because the bathroom is the worst.
I got questioned about a bathroom in that truck at least 100 times.
Yeah, I told you.
At least.
Because they don't want to go to the porta potty, so they come to the local semi.
Yep. And then the other thing was coffee. Yeah. The amount of people that asked me if we had a coffee pot inside the semi, and we didn't. The coffee pot was over at the camper because we drank the coffee before we got to the semi.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a coffee pot and I didn't have a bathroom. And I got requested the most about that and then Cowie parts.
But it's good, though. You have to understand, though. It's a social sport. It's a family sport.
No, and I love that. And I think that we prove that we're family people.
It sucks to tell people no because you're actually there trying to do something.
Yeah.
They think they're trying to help too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just tough. But We obviously have proved, I think, this week specifically at
I mean,
videos.
look at all the dinners you had, and
Right,
and,
and that's what I'm saying. I mean,
entertainment. It's like, who does that?
We're playing music. We're doing cornhole tournaments. We're doing 2, 3, 4 nights worth of dinners. Some of them that were rider and family specific only, and some of them were sponsor and then track staff. But we were the entertaining semi. I mean, that's our goal, is to tell people that we appreciate them, and we need their support, and we want them to know that we appreciate them. But at the same time, if there was, I don't want to be mean and tell somebody, hey, get the hell out of here, in this scenario.
Well, it can't be a free for all.
But
Right.
at the same time, we put our little yellow chains up, during race time, guys. It's race time. We're trying to run a race team and be a functional racer. And I mean, I know there was a couple moments where I personally, as the team owner, could not get inside the semi because there was somebody standing in the door trying to talk to a rider. And I'm like, hey man, I'm not trying to be rude, but I need you to move. Like, get out of the way.
Yeah, I did not appreciate being escorted from the area at all on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to do it.
No, that's part of it.
Get out of the way.
Like I told you, we know California rounds, like being from there and everybody or whatever, and it's like we were all getting paid. That's our job. Like I got to the point where I had to tell people, like, hey, listen, I don't go to your job and bug you. Like,
Yeah.
we're here trying to do a job. Like,
Yeah, but I've heard that before, but the reality is you got a way cooler job. So
I know, but
you got to fight with that.
I know, but still, like, I understand where you're coming from, but you still have to be, professional and cordial to everybody, and it's hard to differentiate.
Yeah, I mean, it boils down to, I mean, truthfully here, let's be bluntly honest. At the end of the day, if we're not there, then those riders that were under the tent this week, they don't have a home to go to at the semi truck and have an awning and a canvas and stuff like that. And I mean, if people don't respect it, then the truck doesn't go. We put the truck up for sale and the truck's gone. And then those guys don't have a place to go anymore, so the truck's not there. And if that was the case, then you've got guys out there pitted in the middle of the back 40 at their motorhome. And I don't want that, I mean, we're trying to be a professional team, and I'm not trying to be mean in any way, shape, or form. It's just making people understand.
No, it's limited real estate.
It's a good subject. I could talk about it all day long, honestly.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
I mean, we roll into Anaheim 1.
Yeah.
Trying to set up our tent, and like God love him, but the ARC guy that makes the levers would come talk to Goose.
Yeah.
Every time. And I finally had to tell the guy, like, hey, can't you see we're trying to work and he's one of the workers? Like,
Yep.
get the hell out of here. When all this stuff is set up, then we can BS about freaking clutch levers. But it's
Well, that's how you know you made it. Once you told somebody to get the hell out of here,
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, I'm team owner. What's up?
Well, but at the same time, we need people, I mean, I want everybody to know that I appreciate them, and every person that came by to shake my hand or talk to me this week or come up to the truck and support the team. We love you guys. We appreciate that. I thank you for it, and I can't stress enough that, we have to have people to make our team function. And I did not do it in any way, shape, or form to be mean to anybody, but I do know there's probably a couple people right now that are like, man, that guy's a jerk.
No, I don't think so. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. It is what it is.
What you did from the beginning is you've got good people underneath you already
Right.
who,
Yep. Yep.
you
Truck drivers.
you're never going to please everyone.
no.
I know, but I want to. It's
You'll never do it.
It
You'll
is
never
one of
do
those
it.
things.
I've tried that.
it's easier said than done, but
So here's I usually don't have anything to contribute that's worth anything, but here is my story.
It's about time you come up
On
with something.
Monday, after I came back, I go to the UPS store.
Okay.
I got Future MX hat on. And the dude at the cashier was like, do you work for Future MX? And I said, no, who the hell's that? And he's like, man, I'm a huge fan. I grew up with Ayden, and I've been watching Minios, and it's awesome. And he recognized that team. And I thought to myself, like you said, you got to be personable to all these people, because you don't exist without
Right.
their support.
Absolutely.
And we just crossed that 1,000 follower threshold on Instagram and stuff. And
yeah.
so it is a tough thing to, I guess, the balancing act of that.
Yeah.
So, are you officially the resident a-hole, or what are you?
No, I hope not. I hope not. But I think and this is what's I've
It has
always,
to be done.
Yeah, it has to be done, and people have to understand that this is a business. For us, this is a business. We are trying to run a professional race team here, whether it's pro racing or amateur racing, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's still a professional business.
Yeah.
We are trying to do this and grow this where we can get the funding that we need to be able to do it successfully and go racing.
Well, you don't want a sponsor to show up,
Well,
and there's a bunch of yahoos running around underneath the tent. They're like, what the heck
That's
is this?
exactly what I was
Monkey
leading.
playground.
That's
like
exactly what I was
Fresno
leading to.
Yeah.
Is that if you have a sponsor that shows up and they walk by that semi and all they see is a free for all.
Yeah.
That's why there's rules in the camper or in the semi. There's rules taped.
There's no rules in the camper.
Well, the camper was
No,
way,
no.
yeah, camper's way.
I'll hang out the camper. There's no rules.
What goes on in the camper stays in the camper.
That's a good point. That's a 100% good point. Like,
Yeah, if a sponsor shows up and they see that, there's stuff taped right to the inside of the semi. I mean, we had race orders, we had meals, we had days planned of what we were doing each day. We had rules on the bottom that were highlighted in bold red letters that, just something as simple as this. No alcohol underneath the awning during race time.
of course.
I'm out.
I mean, it's a
No, you're not. You don't even drink.
it's a simple rule. I mean, it's a simple thing. Like no alcohol underneath the awning during race hours.
Right.
I mean, it's just.
Eliminate that rule.
Well, I mean, we do love our cold brews, and we have
But the thing about it
It's
is like
professional.
if RJ, the owner, he likes beer, right? Like if you
Yeah.
can't have a beer, then nobody else can. And everybody else that's working on bikes, if they can't have a beer, then nobody else can. Screw it.
it's just trying to have that professional image.
100%.
The relationship and respects that we do have with our sponsors. We want to make sure that they are happy, and I can tell you that they won't be happy if they come by there and it's just a free for all and you got a bunch of people there. and
It's like a damn playground.
Yeah, it's a playground. It's a party. I mean, I had my own kids. I've got 3 kids. My own kids. I told my wife, I'm like, you have got to contain these kids and get them out of this awning. This is my own wife and my own kids.
Your own
this,
flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Oh, I've kicked my wife and her friends out of my tent.
I told them, I
out
said,
of
if
here.
you guys want to go inside the semi, you can go inside. The boys were, the guys were inside playing PlayStation up in the rider lounge. I said, if the kids want to go inside the semi and play PlayStation, that's perfectly fine. Where they're out of sight, they're not, you can't see it. I'm totally fine with that. But as far as running through the awning and the tent and the camp, the area, I put a hammer down to that. It just, again, professional, thinking about the sponsors and trying to represent them the best we can, because that's our goal. We have to represent them. I mean, if you need graphics, call Step Up MX. You don't want to, you don't want to go over there and look at a bike and it be dirty and because the mechanic can't get to it or we can't use the pressure washer or something like that. So it ended up working out good. We don't have to harp on that any follower, but I am very, very happy with the boys overall. I'm happy with our team. We've got a great thing going right now.
Yeah, it looks like it went really well for you this week. So.
I think, especially if you look at social media, the reach alone on our professional dashboards across all the different platforms, over 315,000 reach in this week at Mini-O's and gaining almost 4,000 followers in a week between all the different platforms, when you put them together. That's big, and our analytics package is going to continue to grow, and hopefully that'll attract some people that want to get on board and be with us. But outside of that, Tyler, you got some videos you're working on?
Yeah, just the sponsor video. We were able to put together a short. It's so weird how those shorts, man. It's like one will catch fire and then one will just fizzle out immediately.
It's amazing. It's
People are interested in what goes on underneath that tent.
How did my truck tour do?
It just sunk like a boat anchor. Just completely.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's not going to keep me from trying.
Like a fart in the wind.
Yeah.
Gone.
It's not going to keep me from trying.
And so we're trying to do, as you were mentioning about the reach and stuff like that of the audience that we're catering to. We're trying to get some more sponsorship driven data and sponsorship catered content to try to send out. So that was like what we were talking about, why I was there on Sunday. And then we this week we did some website work to try to improve our ability to showcase sponsors, provide backlinks, improve SEO and things like that. So yeah, I mean it's kind of funny the metamorphosis of you went racing, you went through the entire process of how to conduct a race and run out of the semi, and then it's like suddenly, okay, that's doing well now from a content perspective and an audience perspective, and now we are going to move into, okay, let's try not to go bankrupt within 6 months type thing.
Yep.
So,
And that's what happens to a lot of teams.
Hey, besides the team,
I thought every race team ever was fully successful.
No.
hey, besides the team, December's coming up.
Yep.
Not to put the pressure on, but we gotta get some boys in here.
Yeah.
The season coming up, and we really got to work hard in getting these guys in here and
Well, I can tell
get
you,
some shows going on.
I can let the people know that we do have some commitments.
Oh, do we? You haven't even told me about this.
Yep, we do have some commitments for coming on the Future MX Radio.
Good.
I'm extremely grateful for some of the guys that have already come on, like Hampshire, RJ, great friend of ours.
We've had a pretty good list so far.
Yeah, Colin Park, Justin Bogle, Jet Lawrence. I mean, the people that we've already had on here so far. I can't name them all because we've had a big turnout so far, but I do know coming up that we did get a commitment from Coop. He said that he would.
Finally.
Yep. He texted me and he said that he would make it happen. And then I also believe that we may have Savachi coming on here in the next.
Oh, good. Yes.
Very
All right,
short
cool.
term.
Good dude.
Got a commitment out of that. And Dookie, Dookie knows a lot of people now.
Yeah.
Dookie knows a lot of people. I mean, there's been some talks that we might be able to get a couple people on here to come over and visit the Big Duke man and come on the show. Possibly Sexton. We'll see if we can get him to come by and hang out for a little bit. Overall, it's one of those spots right now where after Minios, as far as amateur racing goes, it's a bit of a quiet time. We'll have a little bit of a gap in the amateur side.
It's good though. 'Cause
It is.
Like now we can jump on this upcoming season for everybody, and obviously you're dabbling into Supercross now too. So it's like, let's go.
Yeah. So that'll be a little bit of a storyboard. I know Drew Adams is coming on.
Oh no.
Yep. So Drew, we talked at Minios about it, and as long as I make sure that we have some tricolored goldfish and some Uncrustables here, he'd be all about it. I did talk to Carson and Chris, his dad, talking about them coming on, and I think it would be good actually to have Chris come on himself because then people that are getting into it could also see what it would be like between Chris and Jacqueline about from the family side of it, from the parent.
Yeah.
What it takes to do what they're doing at the level that they are, and
Sacrifices.
yeah, and Carson obviously explaining his transition now from KTM to Cowie. It's been such a short, quick, fast transition, and he goes straight to an AMA major and does so well. He's just such a good kid, man. Like there's just something about him that I just love seeing him happy. I love seeing him, smile, and when he grabs a snack or grabs something off the counter at the trailer, it just makes me happy, honestly. Just good people. But I think we're gonna try and get Carson. I'd like to try and get his parents. Like I said, Jacqueline and Chris, it'd be good to have them come on and talk about their side of it, what they see. And then I know Drew and Ayden, they went to Hooters yesterday after they left Minios. That was the wager. I want to say it was if Drew won the title that he would pay for Hooters or something. I don't know. So
They were darn right excited to go.
they couldn't get out of there fast enough. I mean, as soon as the Supercross awards were over, I mean, they didn't even ask if
I'm
the
surprised
semi
Dookie
needed
didn't go with them.
Well, he was helping me.
I'm kind of banned from Hooters.
Oh.
I can't go to Hooters.
There's some paperwork involved there.
Yeah.
But no, overall, I mean,
I'm moving into the wing house thing, though.
we'd like to try and get all of them on, and Coop's been a big asset to the team and a part of the show, and just all these people that make this thing tick and make it go around, man. I know I sound like a broken record, but I can't thank everybody enough. And even for this episode 11 with HBI Tax, Mr. Matt Bell, the HBI Racing team, and all the boys, all the people that support him and support his program, and then Morgan Stanley Financial Group, the Medina Partner Group out of Tampa. If there's anything that they can do for you, please check out on their website and make sure you reach out to them and let them know that we sent you there. And again, just like the guy that was at the track talking about our graphics kit and asking who did it, to Step Up MX Graphics, let them know. Make sure you drop them a note that we're the ones that sent you over there to them. And all that stuff helps us, helps the team. So if there's anything that we can do as far as our sponsors go, Sugar Shane, any last thoughts, questions, concerns?
I mean, I wish I was financially stable enough to sponsor the team, because I would.
I greatly appreciate that, man. But you're a big asset to us and a big asset to the team for coming here every week and helping me on this podcast endeavor. We'll get some numbers together. It's going to be interesting to me to see what our episodes do here on the podcast after our big spike in social media as far as the reach and the grows and everything that we had going on.
Well, I honestly feel like it's only up from here. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
you're not going to lose followers.
Well, when you start
you're doing a great job.
You start from the bottom, you kind of have to go up a little bit.
Well, yeah, like,
and we are starting this thing grassroots, man.
Yeah,
we don't have advertising anywhere. We don't have promotional.
It's only
stuff.
up
So,
from here.
Anybody that wants to jump on board and be a part of the program, we would greatly appreciate that. Trust me, it means more than you know. And even if it's a small amount, this is a big thing. We could do very customizable kits or sponsorship packages where it could be one race for one weekend. And, if you want to sponsor us or help the truck with fuel and a truck driver get the semi out to Freestone or, one of the East Coast Supercross races, I mean, that would be huge. And we could definitely do that. The great thing about our wrap on our semi is that it's a base wrap, which is just a template design. We can add and remove logos to it at any time. So the ability to be able to do a one-off, one weekend, we could basically estimate with knowing what the miles per gallon of the truck is and what it would take for hotel rooms and a truck driver. If anybody wanted to get on board and even do just a one race, package, we could do that. If you want to do a whole season, it would be easy to come up with something that works for the people. I mean, the biggest thing that we're trying to do right now is grow our social media and our podcast, our YouTube channel. So please share that, let people know. That way we can increase our reach here and make the ROI, which is the biggest thing that matters to these people, is the return on investment. You have to have the ability to sell a product or sell kits. So if there's something that we can do to get to that point, we would love to be able to do that and make this thing grow and evolve and go from there. But in the meantime, Shane, just drive the truck. It's pretty simple.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I hope I'm asked to come back on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
hey, I hope you get some rest this week, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a long week, man. Duke and I have been going, I think, almost 10 days straight right now, and we didn't even take today off. Got up, unloaded the campers, and
yeah, it's nonstop.
Had to move.
I tried to pre-warn you.
Had to move the semi. We had it parked right here at Croom. Anybody that went to Croom and rode today probably saw the semi. It was parked right out front of the gate there behind the 7-Eleven just for overnight. We went and I was too tired to get the truck all the way to the drill shop.
I parked my KTM rig right there at the Flying J.
Yeah.
Just backed her on in and went home for the weekend.
Well, that's basically what we did last night. Yeah. I was like, guys, I'm not going to drive 30 minutes past my house to drop it off at the drill shop and turn around and come back to the house. And I was like, I'm just going to park the truck at Croom and leave it there.
Probably take out a fence or something because you're tired and it's dark and you're over it.
I definitely nailed a curb pulling into that 7.
Yeah, you did.
But there was a truck that was trying to pull out.
Is there a tire still on the rim? Or what?
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah. Semi was teetering a little bit. But
yeah, a little bit.
No, we were able to get it done. But again, thank you to every listener. Please share it. Like us on our YouTube channel, subscribe on YouTube channel, like us on Instagram, like us on TikTok. Grow, share. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate everybody. Mr. Dave Dukey, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tyler Kasha.
Hey, can I say it? Hit it, Tyler.